The first AliExpress top 5 of the year, and I have 5 excellent choices for you this month. But I also have a watch that I really want to encourage you to avoid. Hi guys, my name is Jason and I am your watch guy today. I have 5 AliExpress pieces that I've spotted this month that I really think you will enjoy. If you're interested in any of these, they're all linked in the description. They're affiliate links and they are the stores that I have found these watches on. Make sure you shop around for a good deal. As well as that, I have a watch that I really want to urge you to avoid like the plague. So stick around to the end to see that one. Firstly, we're going to go to Pagani Design, a brand that I have plenty of experience with, but has been slightly absent from the channel of late. This is the Pagani Design PD1782. This is one of their VK chronographs, and it comes in the style of a white panda dialed lunar pilot, but in a much more reasonable case size of 40mm. That's right, the size that we all really wanted when they announced a smaller cased model last year. Now this one is absent of the incredible precisionist movement that Beloved offer. However, it is complete with a fully stainless steel casing, a sapphire crystal, and the choice of a bracelet. The Berny also has a slight bit of added flair with the orange sub-dial hands. They add a really lovely little splash of colour to that dial, which really livens up the watch overall. It also slightly differentiates it from the Lunar Pilot. For a really reasonable price of under £70, this one could be a brilliant addition to anyone's collection. Moving on to Merkur, a very well received Chinese brand. This is their dual crown world time. It's a really classic looking piece, but it has a very decorative flair to it. The second crown on this piece controls the outer ring with the printed cities of the world. The center dial is claimed to be enamel, and if that's correct, it's a lovely feature at this price point. One thing I will say though is that it's a pretty strange choice for the continent on display to be Africa, packed with a Chinese movement going by the name of the MO1D. From what I know, it's a 17 jewel hand-wound movement that can be found in plenty of domestic pieces. That being said, these pieces range in price quite drastically, so it's difficult to put a value on the movement itself. Packed with a standard casing and a hardlex crystal, this isn't exactly what you'd call a spec monster. With all this being said, at under £140, this is a consideration for those that love the look of the watch itself, and it isn't the usual winner on specifications that we expect on AliExpress. Now on to one of the better budget brands on the market, but probably one of the silliest names on AliExpress. This is Berny's latest compressor style watch. I reviewed their first iteration of this, and while it was better priced, I also think that this is a much better prospect for your money. With touches of colour flowing through the entire dial, this really does entice me. I claim 200 meters water resistance, a sapphire crystal, fully stainless steel casing, and an option of a bracelet. This is pretty much the piece that we wanted from Berny the first time around. I really like the orange touches throughout the design, and they definitely add to the aesthetic of the piece. I can barely see this being very popular amongst budget collectors. This, like the predecessor, is running a Miyota 8215 movement. If you're new to the channel, you may not know my utter distaste for the 8215. So to get you up to speed, I hate it. That being said, this movement definitely allows for a more budget piece, is easily accessible and replaceable when the time comes. Coming in at £92 on a bracelet and £82 on a band, this is definitely an excellent proposition on the market. What I will say though is I'd opt for the bracelet at £10 more. It just seems like that adds a lot more value to me. On to one of the best pound for pound brands on AliExpress at the moment, Addiesdive. They have just released a VK powered chronograph with a 200 meter water resistance, a pilot aesthetic. This one definitely has more than a passing resemblance to the Longines Spirit chronograph, with a panda and a reverse panda dial option and a much more classic bezel insert. With all the usual goodness you'd expect from a spec monster, this watch is cased in a 316L stainless steel body with a sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance, and 120 click unidirectional divers style bezel. This one's going to be incredibly popular. Addiesdive has always been well received by reviewers and consumers alike, taking the mantle of steel dive before them. The well-finished casing and 5-piece bracelet will definitely make this an easy wearing everyday watch, and you won't feel guilty wearing it in. The more classic sizing of this watch being just under 40mm will mean that it'll fit a plethora of different wrist sizes. At this more universal sizing, it'll be less overbearing while also being well sized enough to have a premium effect. At around £70, this one beats out plenty of its own competitors and definitely gives those at a slightly higher budget something to think about. Finally, number 5 on the list is from a brand that I actually have quite a soft spot for. AESOP creates some fantastic tourbillon pieces at a price that I can hardly fathom, even for a Chinese brand. This particular piece will set you back around the same as a half-decent Seiko chronograph, available in both gold tone and silver tone casing. This one will suit those who want a dress watch with a very luxurious twist to it. Sitting at the 6 o'clock, the tourbillon is the showcase of the piece and gives us something that is usually unavailable to the budget consumer. This dial is made up of a classic white background and black printed Arabic numerals, which makes it very legible, but also really does maintain that vintage style. The gold tone casing definitely has the best accent to the dial in my opinion, but that is down to personal taste. This is sat on a leather band, but in my experience, that's the first thing that you throw out when it arrives. With the price point of this watch, there has to be some cust cutting involved, and that usually starts with the leather band. In my experience, these tourbillon movements run without missing a beat and are a fantastic addition to any collector. However, there will come a time that the movement fails, and I don't think you'll be able to replace it. At £215, this is a bit of a steal on the watch market in the modern day, and I think it'd make a perfect addition to a lot of people, as well as making the perfect conversation starter at any dress event. Now, this is probably the one that you've been waiting for. Proxima made some fantastic watches, and I usually find myself praising their efforts. However, their latest has left quite a sour taste in my mouth. They've released a homage to the ever popular Studio Underdog Series 01, the ST17 powered chronograph that was released by a small British brand last year. It quite frankly took the market by storm in 2023. This isn't the first time Chinese brands have taken a design from another company, but I feel quite different about this one because they're taking a design from a young fledgling company that have only just started out. A British brand started by a young designer who has turned his passion into one of the most exciting micro brands I've seen in the last few years. I'm not going to dwell on this too long as I don't enjoy speaking negatively of a brand, but for me this is really punching a little bit too low and could do plenty of harm to a young brand that has just started out and has so much to offer to the watch market, as well as the resurgence of the British watchmaking market. If you like this design, then I really do urge you to go over to Studio Underdog's website, sign up for the notifications. They will be restocking the Series 01 in 2024. Yes, it's more expensive. Yes, it's £500, but for what you're getting from a young brand and an individual design, it's well worth it. And that's why I encourage you to do. The first of the year, let me know what you think of this list. I know January isn't the ideal time to be buying watches for many. However, I'd love to know what you've spotted this month, or if there's anything that I have missed and should be considering. Remember, they're all linked below their affiliate links. I've also left a link to Studio Underdog's website. If you can support a small domestic brand as they're making their way onto our market, then please do so. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.